but now it's letting me go. Now it's letting me do this sideways here. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm sure it's my fault. Just ask my wife. Okay. Well, somehow that got fucked up. So pardon my French and pardon me while I do that. Here we go, part 2. Here we are. Oh, Scott, I see if you're there. I see that you did text me, and I appreciate that. And look, see, we can now see all these moves. So I started out. By the way, let's talk a little bit about the sound. A lot of reverb. It's a lot of. I actually prefer a little bit of delay as well. And if we get tap, tap. And if I really have my druthers, I love it when I get a little, not reverb, not to be too picky, but I love vibrato, not tremolo, but actual vibrato. So you'll hear it here. It's going to sound quite profound. That kind of thing right there. Scott, I see you reached out, man. Thank you for that. I'll definitely text you back after the live stream. Okay, so the only thing I do is I usually add a little ducking to it. So right now, it won't be shaky on the attack, but as it fades, it'll start to warble. All right, so that's what I like about vibrato, and I do tend to slow down the rate, the depth, and the interesting thing about the Kemper is it has this thing called crossover on vibrato, and that means how much within the left to right from bass to treble, where does the vibrato above that start? So you can leave your bass steady so it doesn't go whir. The bass isn't detuning, it's just the frequencies north of the bass, and I tend to raise up. But you can hear that slight pulsing. All right. Now somebody was just talking to me about liking ambient sounds made on the guitar, and that's a pretty good start for one. Okay. So here we are with back to where we were. I'm sorry about that interruption. I don't know what happened there. Right, and I usually go. This is probably the toughest lick that I do. That's based on the Garcia album take that he did on the pedal steel. Is this? That little run. Okay. So let's put that loop back on and see what these other ideas are, okay? I don't know if anybody followed that waterfall idea. Sorry. I fucked up a couple of times during that other take there where I was too many times on that flat 5. You can do some flat 5 bends, but generally speaking, I tend to think of them as at the end there. All right. if you want to, you can mess around with that kind of. It's better with the open string there, I think. I was trying to bend it. I fucked that up. Okay, so this is an interesting chord right here you don't see too often. We've got the root in the fifth with the 9 back here, and then we're going to put the middle finger on the 5th there. All right, so a great way of playing a C add 9 chord, but you still get the 3rd in the same register. So you get that rubbing, kind of like this, but you get the a little different. All right. So another little move that I'll always do when I play the wheel is this kind of move. So basically, I'm climbing the C major scale. Sorry. Okay, so. And all I'm doing is really looking for the opportunity to go 1 fret bend, another. Okay, now why am I pushing the A string up? It's because I know I'm going to be hitting the D string directly below it. So if I go, that's different than I get both notes that way. But you do run the risk of pushing off the board, so be careful. Okay, so that's major scale. Okay, so we always talk about, am I using pentatonic? Am I using major? What's going on? So we can mix them together. This is major. 1, 2, 3. Pentatonic. Right, or maybe last but not least, there's a couple of other little ideas that I like to do. I'll anchor my pinky here on the 3rd of the chord, and I'll bend up like that. Okay, and this is a very pretty sound. The root up here on the pinky, and you're going like that, okay? Now, I'm inspired by other players other than Jerry, and when I do this kind of stuff, I definitely lean heavily on my awareness of and love for Daniel Lanois and The Edge. I love both those guys, and I rate Lanois' production with Eno at his side and The Edge as some of the most influential guitar playing for me. But I don't always have the opportunity to make it seem germane to the type of music that I'm playing. But this would work. This would definitely work for me. All right, so here are the ideas we've covered so far. Okay, we did this little. Again. That should have been, what was it? That kind of thing, right? So that's a nice opening start. Then we've got that little thing. Okay, so those are thirds. And we can do any number of things once we get up there. This is a kind of a nice move. That kind of thing, right? We're using. We need some open strings, right? Should. I think that's kind of slick. Okay, so that's going to be. That's kind of the trick. Open E string. Okay. Now, obviously, with this style of music, in this presentation, you've got to have some thrust, some drive to cut over the band, but not too much. You don't want to wail. This song isn't really about wailing. I don't really know how Garcia approached it too much because he never had access to these big long reverbs and delays. Right? So the interesting thing about this reverb that I have on there, if I hit a short note, there isn't too much reverb on it, but if I hold it down, it'll swell up behind it. And will go much longer. It has a parameter on the Kemper that allows me to blend in. It's basically it's kind of like I'm sending a volume swell into the reverb itself. So when I play busy notes, it doesn't immediately explode. But the second I hold it, it kind of takes off. And then there's quite a bit of bloom afterwards. All right. So some phony steel stuff. This little bit right here is very trying to sound like a pedal steel. You needed to make a very quick position shifter. No, you could probably just do it. I don't know why I do it this way and then jump back. I could have just as easily. I always have done it that way, and it's extra work. But instead of right, I could have gone. Okay, and then we had the that kind of thing. All right, so pretty fun there. All right, so yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, I was showing you this. That and this, where we're pedaling. You can also do this like with open strings. That kind of thing. I used to do. Yep. All right. So that's pretty much it for all the country ambient soundy tricks that I use. Because there's more to that kind of style of music, but I don't really do too much of it. But that's about where I'm at. All right. So I'm down for opening up the floor to any questions if anybody's got them. If they don't, I'm happy to just duck out of here and get on with my Friday night. Or I'll reach out to Scott here via text, and you and I can catch up if you're still tuning in there. All right. So anybody got any questions about how to approach soloing over the wheel and utilizing pentatonic major and the major scale and any of those tricks? If you want me to break down something I just did, happy to fill you in. If not, no biggie, and we'll just get on with our Fridays. All right. Yeah, that's too high to do one of my, and this is kind of slow. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back soon. I'm back from my travels, so when I have time, I'll come online and help out if you're there. All right, take care.